Today, we are diving into Atomic Habits by James Clear. It is, no joke, one of the most practical guides out there for building good habits and, maybe even more importantly, for finally breaking those bad ones. So let's just start with a question we can all relate to. Why is it so hard? You know the drill. You start a new diet, a new workout plan, you swear you're going to read every night. And then, a few weeks in, you're right back where you started. It's super common. But what if I told you the problem isn't you? It's not your motivation or your willpower, it's your system. Okay, so what on earth does this number mean? 37x. It probably looks pretty random, right? Well, stick with me because this number is actually the secret key to unlocking some seriously massive long-term change. It's way simpler than you think, and we're going to come right back to it.
And this quote, right here, this is the whole idea in a nutshell. We all kind of get compound interest when it comes to money, right? You put a little bit in consistently, and over time, it can grow into a fortune. Well, James Clear says our habits work the exact same way, but for our lives.
And there it is. That's the math behind that 37x. It's the absolutely mind-blowing power of getting just 1% better every single day. These little atomic improvements, they're so small you barely even notice them day to day, but over a year, they compound into something huge. Now, of course, the flip side is also true. Get 1% worse each day, and the result is just as powerful, but in the wrong direction.
But does this actually work in the real world? Oh yeah, just look at the story of British cycling. For 100 years, they were fine, nothing special. Then in 2003, this new director, Dave Brailsford, comes in and starts making tiny 1% improvements to everything. And I mean everything. They redesigned bike seats to be more comfortable. They tested different massage gels to see which one led to faster muscle recovery. They even figured out the best pillow for each rider to get a perfect night's sleep. And the results were just staggering. Over the next decade, they completely dominated the sport. We're talking 66 gold medals, 178 world championships, all from adding up these tiny little gains. So, okay, if this 1% thing is so powerful, why do we all give up so often? Well, it comes down to what James Clear calls the plateau of latent potential. This chart right here explains it perfectly. We expect our progress to look like that straight line. We work hard for a week, we expect to see a week's worth of results. But that's just not how it works. In reality, real progress is exponential. For the first few weeks, or sometimes even months, your results are so small you can't even see them. And that gap, the space between what we expect and what we see, he calls that the valley of disappointment. And that is where most of us quit. It's just a fundamental rule of any compounding process. The biggest, most powerful results are delayed. You don't see the payoff from your daily effort right away. But that doesn't mean the work isn't working. The real secret is just having the faith and the patience to push through that plateau. The book gives a couple of fantastic ways to think about this. First, imagine an ice cube in a cold room. As the temperature slowly goes up from, say, 26 to 27 to 31 degrees, on the outside, nothing seems to be happening. But all that energy is building up until, bam, it hits that 32-degree tipping point and suddenly you get a breakthrough. Or think about bamboo. It spends 5 years growing this massive root system underground where you can't see anything. And then, suddenly, it shoots up 90 feet into the air in just 6 weeks. Your habits are doing the same thing. They're building a foundation you can't see yet.
So patience is key. We get that. But there's an even deeper mindset shift that really makes habits last. And it's all about focusing on your identity, not just on your outcomes.
Clear breaks down change into these 3 layers. Now, most of us, we start from the outside and work our way in. We focus on the outcome, what we want to get, like losing weight. Some of us might focus on the process, what we need to do, like going to the gym. But the most powerful lasting change starts from the inside and works its way out. It starts with your identity. Who is it that you want to become? Just look at this shift. It's so small, but it's everything. Someone focused on an outcome says, I'm trying to quit smoking. But someone focused on their identity says, I am not a smoker. See the difference? One is a temporary struggle, the other is a statement about who you are. The goal isn't just to run a marathon, the goal is to become a runner. And this creates this amazing feedback loop. Every single action you take is like a vote for the type of person you want to become. So when you go for a run, even a short one, you're not just exercising, you're casting a vote that says, I am a runner. Your habits are literally how you embody a particular identity.
All right, so we've got the big picture mindset. Now let's get down to the brass tacks, the actual how-to. And James Clear gives us this incredibly simple framework he calls the 4 laws of behavior change. So first, you just need to understand the basic engine that runs every single one of your habits. It's this simple 4-step loop. Your phone buzzes on the table. That's the cue. You get that little itch, that desire to know who messaged you. That's the craving. You pick it up and check. That's the response. And you satisfy that curiosity. The reward. The 4 laws are designed to let you hijack this exact loop.
And the system is just so simple and elegant. If you want to build a good habit, you just have to make the cue obvious, the craving attractive, the response easy, and the reward satisfying. And what if you want to break a bad habit? You just flip it. You make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. That's it. That's the whole game.
Let's make this super practical. Say you want to build that running habit. Okay, law 1, make it obvious. Put your running shoes right by the front door, where you literally can't miss them. Law 2, make it attractive. Try something called temptation bundling. You pair something you want to do with something you need to do. So maybe you decide you can only listen to your favorite podcast when you're on a run. Law 3, make it easy. Reduce any friction. Lay out your workout clothes the night before so you just have to roll out of bed and put them on. And law 4, make it satisfying. Find a way to give yourself an immediate reward. Track your run on an app and feel that little buzz of accomplishment when you save it. Now, I know this all sounds great, but it can still feel like a lot to take on. So, where in the world do you actually start? Well, the answer is so simple, and for me, it's the most powerful piece of advice in the whole book. It's called the 2-minute rule, and it is a game changer for overcoming procrastination and inertia. The rule is just this. Whatever new habit you're starting, it has to take less than 2 minutes to do. Now, the point isn't to get amazing results in those 2 minutes. The point is to master the art of just showing up. You make it so laughably easy that you can't possibly say no. For example, read every night feels like a big commitment, but read 1 page? Come on, anybody can do that. Study for class sounds like a chore, but open my notes? That takes 2 seconds. The goal isn't to do 30 minutes of yoga. The goal is to just get your yoga mat out on the floor. You're standardizing the very beginning of the routine. Because what you're really trying to do is build the habit of being consistent. You're not worrying about how long or how hard you work out at first. You're just casting that vote for your new identity, day after day after day. Once you've mastered showing up, then you can worry about making it better. Which, of course, brings us to the final question. After everything we've talked about, the power of that 1%, pushing through that plateau, focusing on identity, and the super simple 2-minute rule, what's one tiny habit you can start today to begin casting a vote for the person you want to become?